What is up, YouTube? Bubbles and Ball Cards back with another video. Monday Night Live, day after Christmas. Hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas or Hanukkah, whatever holiday you choose to celebrate. Hope Santa was good to you. Um, Hope everybody stayed warm during that big blast of cold air that came through last week. I normally am going to be doing it at 8. I know this week I'm at 9. Shout out to Big Scott. He normally goes live on Sundays. I heard him say in his video that he was pushing his live to today. So we have a lot of um, mutual, friends in the hobby, and people watch both our channels. So instead of having conflict of interest, I just pushed mine back to 9. Let him do his at 8. He was wrapping up. I was just sitting here watching. Um, so shout out to him and Nats man and all the crew there. Always fun getting on, talking to Scott, hanging out when we go to shows. So anyway, um, Ziggy says, "Happy holidays, Mr. and Mrs. B&B." Thank you, Ziggy. Hope you had a great holiday as well. Ryan said, "Have to work bright and early, but wanted to stop by and wish everybody a happy. I think he meant a happy holiday season, and hope we all have a great night." I think there was a few missing words there. Reverend, he said, "The Kirill versus J Rob coming this week. He cannot wait." Definitely, sir. Two young, bright athletes in the game of hockey. This isn't going to be just a hockey stream. I thought it would be fun since everybody gives me so much crap about Robertson. It's always just a fun topic, so I'm just playing along right with it. Got the banner going. Did y'all know, if you didn't catch Carlos's live, Jason Robertson has 3 overtime goals already in his career. Gretzky, only 2. So pretty dang good start, I would say. But that's all a joke, guys. But no, seriously, I hope everybody did have a wonderful holiday. James said, "Happy B&B." Andrew said, "Oh, Big Scott to Bobbles to bedtime." What's up, man? Um, there's we're winding down. Only a few days left in 2022. It's been fun doing all of the kind of reflection videos that I've done. Um, Showing pickups, talking about goals. Uh, I'll probably do one talking about what I'd like to accomplish in 2023, etc. But it's been a really cool period. And I guess every year at the end of the year, we always, a lot of times people are looking at like, what is our New Year's resolution going to be or whatever. But I think sometimes taking a step back and looking at the end of the year of what you accomplished, throughout the year is just as important because, you know, that's what pushes you on to the next year. It prepares you. It gives you where you want to be going into the following year. So it's been cool looking and reflecting back on what happened throughout 2022. There's been some crazy stuff happen, not just hobby wise, but worldwide, the past few years. And it's cool to see everybody. I think there's so many more friendships in the hobby today than there was. Um, People have progressed their collections and everything a lot more than they had. So it's really awesome to see. James says, and he spotted it, "What's the necklace?" So I figured if I was going to do this, I was going to do it right. And yes, I do have it attached. See, I can let it go and it hangs. I figured if I was going to do it, I got to do it right and put the green PMG, right? Isn't that the thing you do now? You put your card on a necklace. So I figured if I was going to do it, let's do it right. So I got the green J Rob PMG. This is actually a joke, guys. It's rubber banded together, but I thought it would be kind of fun to use to get on and do the live streams with. This is a card it's awesome to have. So Rev says, "I love hockey now, so it's cool with me. I just sent 15 Jason Robertsons in for grading, waiting on my Kirill 3D rookie card." and he said he wants to level up to a Kirill SP Authentic. So, little spoiler, I did get a Future Watch of Jason Robertson. Got it on a very good price. I noticed that Christmas Day yesterday, one ended. Um, it was a PSA 8 that was at a price I would have definitely paid. I didn't catch that auction ending. I likely probably didn't put it on my radar because I figured it would have went higher than it did. But it's one I should have kept an eye on because I would have bought that one too. I just think it's a good card to own, and he's settled back a little bit, not a lot, but he settled down a little bit after the streak ended with the goals and stuff. But I think the kid just has such a bright future, and I love collecting him. So I made the biggest reason why I'm trying to get his stuff outside of the fact that all the products been pushed back. I screwed up so badly with Juan Soto. I, you know, I knew about Soto. I was keeping up with him in the minor leagues. I was reading stories about him when he was in the Dominican, and I was a cheapskate and didn't want to spend $50 on his first Bowman. And that lesson bit me in the ass like 100% because when I finally did wind up getting one, it cost me way more than I could have gotten it if I wasn't too cheap to spend $50. On the flip side of that, if I wanted to pretend to be investing or whatever, I could have spent what $500 and bought 10 of them, and just think about how much like earnings could have been there. So I didn't want to screw up again. Being new into hockey, finding a player that I felt that I liked and that I felt his prices were good on. I haven't wanted to screw this up. So if I've had opportunity to buy, I've tried to buy. The funny games of the pump and dump that actually it makes me laugh, and I'm proud to say that, or I'm proud of that. If people want to accuse me of that, go ahead. I haven't sold a single Jason Robertson. But anyway, I hell, I'll take the title of it. Since I do talk about him a lot, but I talk about him because I really like the kid. He's fun to watch. In fact, they're playing tonight, so um, I'll be keeping up with that. But right, Rev says his biggest accomplishment is surpassing 5,000 points for his career registry. The registry is neat. I don't know how you're getting all of your cards on there though, because like 95% of the Griffies I have are not in the registry. I would love to know what my registry number would be if I could enter all my Griffies that I've like gotten in CSG slabs, but like 95% of them aren't even in there. So I don't know how you go about getting them added. That's something I would love to know, and have them added in. So James, notice I do have the sweatshirt. I also have a Jason Robertson shirt that the missus got me for Christmas. She got me the hoodie, and I think she said she had to get it custom made, but she got a Dallas Stars t-shirt that has his name and number on the back. Um, so anyway, and then I also y'all will see this. I went and picked this up, and I'll get into why I got these. I went and picked these up this evening, and so I have him. I'm rocking him on my wrist too. We got a guest tonight, guys. Y'all are probably aware of who he is. Let's get him over here. Hit the like button for the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Eric. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine. How was your Christmas?
It was pretty dang good. Uh, Me and the missus, she always, she's always fixed Christmas dinner and everything. She did it again this year, knocked it out of the park. But the funny part is we both were excited about it because we've been eating healthy and kind of like dieting and stuff. And we were all excited because we were going to cheat on Christmas Day, and and we got a big plate of food. And I don't think either one of us ate half of our plates because it was just like we've been doing this for I don't know a month now maybe,
Right.
and your body adapts to like the new stuff, and it tasted amazing, but it was just
It
we
felt
got
like
filled up
a
so
in a
quick.
brick.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
how
I
was
remember.
yours, man?
Mine was great. We had we had some family come over, and we just took it easy. Now that my daughter is 18, and kind of the magic of youth on Christmas is gone. Things are a lot different than they were, you know, years ago. So
Yeah,
just
my two are
relaxing.
still at home. Uh, my two kids are still at home, and we actually had a third join us. Pretty sad story, but we welcomed her in. One of my daughter's friends that she's known for years. We welcomed her to come stay at our house, and she did Christmas Eve and Christmas with us. And I rushed out with my daughter in the madness of Christmas Eve to let her go shopping for her friend to get some gifts and stuff for her. And that was an adventure and a half, but we made it happen. And so yeah, it was great that the in-laws come over. My brother and sister-in-law come over, their son, and we've always had dinner here at our house, and it's a hell of a time. The kids, I think they're happy. Um, they say they are anyway, right? But I don't know that you can ever make your kids fully happy. But let's
Yeah,
get to some comments here. Rev said he missed the PSA 8. I did miss it. I would have bought that one. I seen it this morning. Kind of mad at myself that I didn't pick up on that one. Andrew says styling and profile. You like my new necklace? Man, got it chained up, brother. Got it chained up.
I tell you, we have
Uh,
we have to get you one from Tim and Corey over at Show Your Slabs and Slab Strong, and they're it,
that's kind of
it
my idea, but I use rubber bands,
yeah.
so that's slab weak. But
Oh
we
my
got it,
god.
we
Have you
got it hooked up.
have you seen some of the ones that they put out? Oh my god, it's hysterical, some of these things.
Rev said he grabbed a Pack Wars Blue Cosmic. That's from Peachy Platinum, and it is a beautiful card. Congrats on that. I have looked at those myself. They also make autograph copies of them as well. Nice snag there. What are my thoughts on the delay of the cup? It sucks. It
Yeah,
absolutely sucks. If Cup would have came out in 2020, I likely could have had Robertson. And
right.
from rumors I've heard, like I think the number that was thrown out was like 15 grand. Nope. Pablos will not own one of the. If you guys see me, if they're 15,000 and you guys see me with one, please feel free to ask how in the hell it happened, because I would love to explain the story of how I got it. So please, if I wind up with one and they're 15 grand, please ask me.
Well, as you know that, we're over at the other show, that Friday thing that's full of nonsense. Uh, we're friends with Billy Cilio from Upper Deck, and there's nobody more frustrated than him that that everything's behind schedule due to, they're still trying to catch up from the pandemic, and the shipping and the manufacturing, and everything's behind. And I mean, there's no one more frustrated than him and Upper Deck. They want their customers to have their product in hand. That's how all companies want that. And for the fact that everything is got so screwed up for the pandemic, they're very unhappy.
I'm kind of surprised that, and I guess the cup is, it's a more premium product, and so it's likely not a lot that they could have adjusted to get it out quicker, especially if it was a supply and print and all that issue. But I was kind of surprised that some stuff they didn't kind of cut ties with, and I think they did on a couple products. But I was, to get that stuff out earlier, because I mean, think about this: they're going to wind up having to combine they're gonna have to combine years at some point. I mean, when is 2021, 22 gonna be out?
Right. Yeah.
So
Um, I was talking to him today, but it was all nonsense. But I promise you this. Um, yeah, it was complete nonsense in our conversations today.
what was it about? Like, wait, so how much are those boxes? Can I afford one?
No,
And
oh,
Carlos said something about he knew, like No, I'm just messing. That would be sweet as hell, but
Yeah,
I'm just messing.
no,
Those boxes are out of what I would pay for a box, so.
yeah, no, I mean, it was just typical, banter and busting on each other and stuff, so,
So
um,
exactly, my thumbnail proves correct. Let's all just get along and root for Jason Robertson. The
yeah,
hobby, the
yeah,
world, everything would be a much happier, like brighter place if we all just got along and rooted for Jason Robertson. I mean, look, Reverend is a huge Kirill fan, and he's talking about he just sent him Jason Robertson. He would have bought that PSA. Like, look, he's already on board. I mean, look, it just makes you happier.
I
Uh,
would be happy to ask him any questions that you have or anyone in the chat has about the product that, isn't protected by, corporate. Um,
right.
but I'd be more than happy to answer, ask him these questions and pass the questions along, and whatever he answers, I'd gladly report back if people really want to know about what's going on over there.
He was pretty cool to talk to when I was live with you guys. Um, and it's funny because he didn't even mention it, but I had talked about those daylight nightlight cards that the missus really wanted. And he said that they couldn't get the ink for the printers couldn't get the ink for it and everything. And then I noticed in this product there is a glow in the dark Easter egg unannounced insert card. And they're really cool. It looks like a hockey rink. And when it glows, it has banners like on either side of the team logo. So I was like, wait a second, he didn't even mention that. And I guess maybe because it was unannounced or something,
Yeah, it
he
could have
wanted
been.
to keep it, a secret or something like that. But um, yeah, they got the glow in the dark ones in. So let's look at what everybody's chatting about real quick. The missus says, hello, everyone. Hope you had a great Christmas and have an amazing 2023. Most definitely. James said, how are you doing? Rev said, if you have to ask for a slot, not sure what that is in. I don't know what that is about. You have to ask for a slot and it takes about 1 week. Have to request new slots. I don't know what they're talking about there, but uh, Stooks said, saw Robertson play last winter in Dallas. He looked pretty good. Dallas fan next to me didn't know Bill Masterson, the number hanging above him in the rafters. Interesting. I am 100% a new hockey fan in general, but I have heard the name maybe because of Eric and the other, live I joined in, but I have heard the name Bill Masterson quite a few times. Um, but if that guy was a Dallas fan and in Dallas, that's kind of surprising. So
I have no idea, um, who Bill Masterson is in regards to a number hanging, in Dallas. I no idea.
yeah, I've heard the name, but again, I don't pretend to know all of this stuff. I started collecting. I found this kid. I like watching the stars because of this kid. I like
Mm.
Ottinger, the Renaissance, as Carlos and Wes call it. Pavelski, all those guys. There's some other younger players that are doing pretty good.
Oh, yeah,
But I like
Dallas has a good program, there's no question about it.
it's just fun to watch, and it's better to watch when you have a favorite team. So, obviously the easy choice is the Capitals since they're local and Ovechkin, but
Mhm.
it's kind of cool because the missus also she grasped the Kraken, and so she's been all over them. She sits down there, watches the games, yells, and all that. So it's been a
Well,
lot of fun.
yeah, I mean, as you can tell, I'm a huge Arizona Coyotes fan, so,
Oh yeah.
yeah, so, it's great, it's great, having a team that you can cheer for and support, so, go Yotes.
Maximus Pumpernickel said, "Dang it! I thought it was going to be Carlos. Waste of my time now."
I don't blame you at all. If I was you, I would definitely be upset about that.
And then Carlos said
And
he's
speaking
joining in and sees that we have the Chief Beckett correspondent. I try to get all the grading companies on. Like that's the thing, I got had Tag on, I have Beckett on. I don't know that I'll ever get PS. They probably don't like me. And SGC, you know, popular belief is that I should be able to I mean, the truth is people believe I'm the owner, so I'm
Oh,
SGC is
we all
always on, right?
I mean, we
So
know that. So, uh,
Orlando says, "Hello, how are you doing, sir?" Yannick says, "Good evening, boys and girls." He
my man,
addresses everyone properly.
my man, who is you know, I know I want to behave myself on your show and not carry the shtick over, but if
Dude,
Giannis,
it's my show. Come
I,
on.
I cannot believe that my man is going back to school again.
Hey,
In all seriousness, him doing what he's doing has been one of the most impressive things that I have witnessed with somebody I know doing. Going back to school, changed his career, finding this new passion. I mean, it's been a joy to watch him, do all this. But I've also heard I only got 4 months of school left. I only got 4 weeks of school left. Oh, and then he tells us, "Hey, guess what? I'm going back to school." Oh my God, like he's killing me.
you know, I have to give him a lot of credit though, because for one, he talked about it and he said, that there was the opportunity there.
Yes,
And you have to respect someone that even if it was 4 months ago, oh, I only got 4 months left and it was a drag, that he's like, all right, look, I can do more. I can better myself even more to take that jump and even go further at it. So congrats to him. Good luck to him. Hopefully, you know, it's not too terrible, but
yeah.
I'm never going to, condemn somebody from wanting to try to better themselves, and especially if the opportunity is there. So
Well,
go ahead and let them know, Yannick, when it's 4 months to go again.
yeah,
Make sure you message or call Eric every day and just be like, man, there's only 4 months to go, and just let him know.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
man, but good luck, seriously.
He's somebody to admire for doing this. I couldn't. There's no way in hell I could go back to school full time and change, and flip, my entire career. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know how he's doing it. He's something else. But I'll only say that here. On Fridays, of course, I'll be calling him all sorts of names, calling him crazy, and refusing to compliment him in any way. So, but we'll do it different here.
Yeah, well, and he's, I've never met Yannick, but he's kind of my partner in crime with Photoshop. And I seen we had a third party there the other night that tossed up that Boston Bruins photo. So we have the Boston kid here. It says, "We're all blessed. Being born and living at the right time is a blessing. Years ago, before television or radio, you actually had to go to a game to watch it." And he's not wrong. I've actually discussed this with the wife. I was like, at our age, and people think I'm like older than Moses, I know, but being born in 1980, it's kind of interesting because I got to live through, before pagers. If you're too young to know what a pager is, my apologies. But before pagers, before the internet, when phones had to be attached to the wall, or you had to go into a little booth and put coins in to actually, talk to somebody. When there was actually an operator, you could press the button and, or you can make a collect call.
I
And
had
then we got the internet.
baubles. I had to run around probably just like you as a kid with a quarter in my shoe in case I had to call home. There was a phone, there was a pay phone down by the playground. So I'm out there playing basketball and running around the park, and I had to keep a quarter in my shoe in case of an emergency, and I had to call home. I mean, kids these days are like, "You had to do what?"
Yeah, I mean, so you've got kids. You just talked about your daughter, and this is kind of where the conversation came from us, because when we look back, and I don't want to like, you know, make this sound. Let me try to make it sound correct or proper. But when our parents were growing up, or and then our grandparents, it was a pretty simple life, right? Like you
Yeah,
just said, you could go to the park by yourself. It wasn't really much fear there. And then when we were growing up, our parents kind of raised us about, a similar fashion because, I would go to there was a basketball court, I don't know, half a mile from the house or whatever. I'd walk there. I've told stories about when I was growing up and there was two card shops in the town, and my mom would drop me off at one and I would walk all the way across the town to the other one, and it was no big deal, I knew how to cross the street without needing someone there to watch me, and there was no fear of, today it's like if you let your kid walk across town at 12 years old, you got the cops called on you, you know? So schooling is different, like teaching them how, and the issue it's difficult now to raise these kids is because that wasn't how it was in our time. So
I
we
know.
didn't experience that. So it's like completely different, and you have to really figure out, we want to raise our kids the way we were raised, but it's impossible to do today. So he's definitely right. Times have changed crazy. I mean, I still remember a little 13-inch, and shit, their cell phones probably bigger than that now. But I had a little 13-inch television with rabbit ears on it, and usually the way I checked the baseball game scores was in the newspaper, and
Absolutely.
that was in the 80s. So it wasn't,
Right.
it sounds so long ago, but yet it wasn't. So
Yeah. You're right. A lot once technology really exploded, um, it was at lightning pace, you know?
yeah, I mean, one thing after, I mean, just even look at the last 10 years,
Yeah.
you know? When I don't think 10 years ago we had electric cars. I don't believe we might have had the hybrids. I don't think we had electric cars.
The ones that existed, um, were so limited that only the absolute 1% of the 1%, had them.
Yeah.
The first
Who
Tesla I
knows what the
saw
next 10 will
was
bring.
about I I I saw one of the original Teslas, about a decade ago, I guess, in where was I? I was in Maryland. I was coaching somebody that was a professional, triathlete, and we had a race in Maryland. So we drove down there, and there was actually he had to explain it to me. I had no idea what a Tesla was, or he had to explain the electric. I had no clue, but he knew what it was, and he was so excited to see it because it was the first time he had seen one. Um, so it was only the 1% of the 1% that had them or even knew what they were.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, we're going on 23 years late of having flying cars and being the Jetsons. But,
Right.
10 years ago, there really wasn't much in the way of, the electric cars and all that. So the next 10 years, who the hell knows what we'll have, but
Oh,
I'm sure it will definitely be interesting. Rev says that rumors are Kirill and J Rob are both not signing currently. If that is the case, the cup will not be strong. Um, I don't know that it wouldn't not be strong. It could be a case where if they have to put redemptions in because they couldn't, once let's face it, they've pushed it back so far. If they rushed getting it into the product and those guys weren't available to sign, maybe that's part of it, and there'll be redemptions. But I don't see either of those. Kirill, he can be brought up in a little bit of story. I don't think Robertson wouldn't sign. He just doesn't seem like that type of guy.
yeah. I
So,
mean,
and I'm not saying Kirill is either. I just think it would likely be redemptions, if anything. I don't see him not signing. So.
to my knowledge, the cup is such a high end product. They don't do sticker autos, right? They're on cards still. Am I correct or am I incorrect?
I would not expect if I got stickers on the cup,
Right.
uh, I don't really have I have, like, 1 card from the cup.
Yeah.
I believe it would be an all on card situation,
Yeah.
so
I would too. Right. So if we're having still having problems getting a hold, and getting our hands on the stuff from a couple, 2020 and 2021 and all this, um, it was because trying to get in front of somebody to get them to do that. I'm just guessing, I'm just kind of thinking aloud. No one was going to allow an executive from Upper Deck to come into their house and with a briefcase full of cards to sign. During a certain point of our history in the last few years. So, I don't know. It's a lot easier to even during COVID, at the height of COVID, you could still send somebody a sheet of blank stickers to sign.
Right, and if they're
Probably
getting
would have washed them all down first. Like, you remember when people were washing their mail and washing their groceries? I never did.
yeah.
I never did that,
I'm not
but
gonna get into all of what happened during that time period
yeah.
because that there's differences of opinions there. I'll just say
No.
this.
I agree. I'm not talking about opinions. I'm talking about you could send. Uh, I'm hearing feedback. Hear my voice coming through for some reason. But anyway, you could easily send a sticker sheet to someone to get signed, but to have a rep come to your house, that may be more difficult.
Yeah, well, I don't know that these guys actually have reps come to their house anyway. Um, I think from a lot of it, they're mailing the cards get signed and then mailed back. I don't know how Upper Deck does it. I will tell you for a fact, Tops mails the cards because I'm still waiting on a Wander Franco, and the Tops rep told me he hasn't mailed those back to us yet. So, all right, let's get to some comments here. The guys have been chatting, and I have been letting it go. I slip up on this. Let's see here.
Well, obviously, I know some of the people that are in the chat, and their opinions and comments don't really mean anything. So,
All right. Rev says he heard they're dropping ice premieres to 99 for 2020 in the 2021-22 ice. I have not heard anything about that, but I will look for some singles if that's true. Carlos says he hasn't heard a more persuasive argument since the completely organic Sharknado discussions he's seen on Fridays.
he started. Okay.
Rev says the CSG registry comments. I guess he's talking about where you get cards added. I have a bunch of Griffies that aren't in there, so I have to look and see how you do that. I don't know how you do it. Vinny said had a great Christmas and wore his Bobbles and Ball Cards T-shirt as well. Awesome, Vinny. Thank you, sir. Hope you enjoy it. It's nothing too fancy, but those shirts we've wore enough of them and washed them and everything. They're pretty decent quality.
Mine's in the laundry, so I'm hoping to wear it soon.
Carlos said Masterson died while playing for the North Stars, so it was likely carried over.
Right, so this is probably Bill Masterson of the Masterson Trophy. Then,
yeah, that's what he goes down here. The Memorial Trophy is awarded annually to the National Hockey League player who best exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to ice hockey.
It's usually the Masterson Trophy is usually like the comeback player of the year. So somebody who had a really bad injury or had a lot,
So Tom Wilson, I know he's been hurt. He has great sportsmanship. He also shows perseverance. And if he's been hurt and comes back, that would show hell of dedication. So maybe he'll be up for it. Everybody loves Tom Wilson. Rev says Beniers is good. Beniers is really good. And he's on the Kraken. So Beniers is going to be another one that I will likely have to try to track some down. Pumpernickel says, can we bill Eric for the like button? Yes, sir. It all gets invoiced together. Carlos, he's on top of it. That's why he's here, making sure to calculate the appropriate measures and getting it put away. Vinny said, collect call messages. He remembers those.
Oh, yeah.
Different time, man. Different time. Paul said, which clouds is Eric yelling at? He was actually being very nice to Yannick. Maybe this is what I was seeing the other side. We'll have like the yin and yang show. He can be, yelling at clouds,
but,
Eric.
Bobbles, listen, I really tried. Okay. But these people are bringing me back to the dark side.
Oh, man.
I wanted to do it differently. I want to behave. I want to be respectful. I wanna show my other side when people are kind enough to invite me on their shows, but
Well,
the
and
audience just keeps wanting to see the Hulk.
see, and you represent me well with the B right over your shoulder. You know, you wear it on your chest a lot, you know, and then if you look, I
The
have the
book is
W on the
dedicated
flag,
to
but
you.
it's sideways and it looks kind of like an E. You
Yep,
know, it's a little curly E there sideways. So,
it
you know, we
is,
show each other support in different ways, but you know, I think it's cool that you represent me with the B all the time.
all the time. This whole room is dedicated to you.
Carlos says, in fairness, in Eric's case, it was attempted abandonment. His mom still tries to send it to get. Oh man,
Oh,
it never ends.
it's true.
Payphones and the Spice Girls as 40 plus kids survived tough times. That is no joke.
Kinda
There's,
survived Spice Girls
I
wasn't
think
easy.
Hockey Barn was the other Photoshop
Yeah, that's why
guy.
I said on, Friday that I won't be purchasing hockey cards from him anymore. He can he's not getting my
Orlando
money back.
said, growing up in the 70s, the only way to know player stats were the cards or encyclopedias.
Yes.
Man, the back of the cards, that was something. Now, I'll say they do put them on the back of the card sometimes, but let me ask you guys' opinion of this. Have they made the print smaller, or am I just that much older? Because I swear the cards, the print is smaller.
So, I'll tell you this, the old Topps cards, the print was good. I'll give you some examples, all right? So here you go. Here's a Topps card from, 76, 77, all right? Right? You should be able to read that.
Yeah, I mean, I can read that on the
Okay.
screen, in the little screen.
Right. So here's O-Pee-Chee, though, from 69, 70, because they had to fit English and then French. All right. So this is from 69, 70,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I got to put my glasses on to be able to read it.
Yeah, I
And
can't. This new stuff, man.
down there, you
It's
know,
tough to see this, especially you get multiple years and stuff on it. I
yeah.
mean, you get like an Albert Pujols, and it looks like you need a freaking magnifying glass. But
Well,
Paul says, "Who needs the Jetsons when we have Eric?"
Paul.
There you go. James says, "Correct." Orlando. Sean says, "The Cup. Are they also making the Jock?" Lame one, Sean. Lame one. Orlando, those encyclopedias took up a lot of space if you had one for each sport. So did those books that Eric used to write, them big Beckett price guides, the yearling ones that were like this big. You know, you had them for every sport. You might as well had a whole room and call it the library.
I don't, I don't, oh, hold on. So, we'll definitely talk about this again on this Saturday night because it'll be all part of the act, the shtick. But I haven't opened the shit 'cause I think I'm gonna return it. But my family got me this for Christmas. It's
Oh,
still
nice,
sealed. You can see
nice.
how thick it
That's
is.
pretty thin.
Um,
And they
but
used to be hardback, I thought.
this no, I have ones from you know way way back 20 years ago
What
still.
am I thinking? There was something that used to be released that was hardback.
But this is the Beckett Hockey yearly one. Now you want to see small print. This goes back.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I want because I know it says here somewhere. This is the 32nd edition. It has more than 1.8 million cards priced. And
All priced by your current eBay sales values.
right, so you have to think this book was put together like I don't know what 6 months ago to be out,
Oh,
to be
maybe
printed and
more.
published and out for Christmas time. What I don't believe anything in this price guide is going to be accurate. But
Uh,
yeah,
Dakota asked, "How much CJ Abrams do I have?" I have a few of his things. I haven't been heavy picking him up yet, only because I'm not too sure like which direction the Nationals are going to go. The kid was a very highly touted prospect, but then he got hurt. The Padres brought him up, and then obviously he was dealt to the Nationals in the trade. If he's one that sticks around and they start like building, I think he could be decent. They have a couple young kids that intrigue me, but also they just drafted. Um, they drafted a shortstop, another shortstop. Brady House is a shortstop, so it's a position that's also kind of clogged up there. So it'll be interesting to see which direction. So I don't want to dump a bunch of money in him if he's not going to stick around on the team. Uh, the missus says that JD asked if I have any 92. I did see a message pop up on the new and improved uh, Jason Robertson watch. I seen it pop up here asking if I had any 92 Bowman Mariano. I have one, but it is not for sale. It is my copy. So the answer to that question on the 92 Bowman Marianos is no. If y'all can stop talking about veneers, I'd appreciate it. Yeah, see, I'm gonna have to try to pick some up. Robertson will never have the PSA 10s of Young Guns because QC was bad. I didn't have an issue with Robertson Young Guns. The only one I had issues with was the French variation. I could never get a 10 on that, but the others I didn't have an issue getting 10s on. Picked up a Robertson Stature auto on card for $199 for a great deal, 132 before the blow up in price. Yeah, his stuff was cheap, and then people realized, oh, this kid's good, and that happens, unfortunately. Baseball card curmudgeon said, "What's up, fellas? Eric, are you planning on heading to the NHL Winter Classic game being held in Boston? That'd be an awesome one to go to.
I had no plans, and I was asked today if I wanted to go.
Man, you should go. They look awesome.
It's I'm gonna have to have a discussion with somebody about it. Not my wife; she would say go. It's not that,
Do
but
you have
I
to
have.
ask Carlos for permission to go to hockey games too?
I well,
Jeez.
he's a huge part of my life, and I it's kind of just how it's turned in. It's what it's turned into. Is I got to ask him permission to do everything.
Well, hopefully he says yes. I'll try to talk him into saying it's
I
okay.
appreciate it, but there's no talking to that guy sometimes. He's very rigid.
Dakota's back to try to say that I am old. Man, I'll tell you, I am getting older, but so I this is gonna sound crazy. But I told you all, in the beginning, me in the midst of it, eating healthier, kind of dieting and that kind of stuff. And I wanted to start doing more activity, more exercise and that kind of stuff. And, obviously right now with the winter, it's kind of hard. And she has a really bad knee issue because she had a terrible accident and her knee got destroyed. So I was thinking about it and I was like, man, even just getting up and doing the bowling on the Wii and stuff like that when they had Wii Sports, yeah, that gets you up and active and all that, and it's fun. So I started looking at the Nintendo Switch, and they have this new one called Switch Sports. And then I seen this stupid game called Ring Fit Adventures. We started watching videos of this game, and I was like, "Oh, this can't be too bad, right?" But it's exercise. It's you jogging and all, little different mini games and stuff. So I ran and picked it up. I went downstairs to set everything up, tried this game out. And there's this one where you like have to squeeze the ring back and forth and you blow these boxes up or whatever. About 30 seconds into that thing, my arms like started yelling at me, and I was in the basement and she hollers, "Are you all right down there?" She thought I was crazy because it hit me. So she tried it, and sure enough, my son tried it. Same thing. You start doing this like, oh, this isn't nothing. What's the big deal? 30, 45 seconds into it, holy heck, your shoulders, your arms, your triceps, everything just start burning. And I was like, all right, this is awesome that I bought this to do some exercising with, but I never in a million years would have dreamed a video game could have made my muscles burn. So we've been having a lot of fun with it. If you guys ever want to get some like easy, low impact type of exercise stuff, look at the Switch because it's pretty cool. So,
You're gonna
do
have
Canadians influence American collectors? I'm gonna say no. I don't understand the question. Nobody
okay.
should be influencing anybody. Let's just keep it at that.
When it comes to hockey,
Hockey Bar said, "You'll be back, Eric. My prices are too good." Oh, challenge, challenge.
Yeah,
Tough
probably
stuff
right.
was awesome. They had all the sports. You didn't that Tough Stuff had a very great idea because you didn't have to buy every single Beckett. You bought one book and you got it all. The only thing was they didn't really have the articles that Beckett had in them. That was kind of a bummer, but for the prices, yeah, you could get one book and had it all. Carlos says yes, act. Uh, Tough stuff. I'm surprised Dakota even remembers Tough Stuff. I thought that book was gone by the time he was born. Let's see. Boston kid Walter Brown, the first owner of the Celtics, had to mortgage his house to keep the Celtics going in 1946. And by the way, he was also the owner of the Boston Bruins. Very underrated executive.
This is true.
Uh, oh, yes, the encyclopedia. He's correct. That's the one that was the hardback. I think there was like a sports card encyclopedia thing that had like maybe checklists or something in it, and those were hardbacks. I knew there was something with sports cards that had hardbacks. Let's see, and 12 of them priced accurately. Maybe. Hey, that price guide he just got has the freshest up to date prices of any source out there. 100%.
I hear now. This is just rumor and innuendo. Is that there is somebody in Canada that is putting together a new price guide and and um, and book of hockey memorabilia and cards, but for some reason it keeps getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And I've also been told that it's possible that everyone else has it but me, and that
Oh,
I've been being
so
lied
it's
to.
pushed back to get to you.
So I'm
Ah.
not 100% sure, but there is a hockey historian in Canada that has put out some books in the past and has done some really good work. And
Does he have, like, the same initials as the channel?
he does, a matter of
Oh,
fact.
okay.
And
I thought I've heard of him, but I just wanted to make sure we were talking about
yeah,
the same person.
he's quite well known in Canada and in the hockey market. Um, but you know, I have yet to see actual proof that this new digital book is going to be available with all this updated information. But I have heard that it does exist.
Do you own an iPhone or Android?
I own an iPhone.
Okay, it'll probably be released on Android.
Oh, as soon as he hears this, I almost guarantee it.
All right. The missus says Encyclopedia Britannica, and you have to have them all to get to that was no joke.
Oh
We
my!
didn't have Google. That would have been so nice.
Remember doing research in the like your public library for like for days to try to write a paper?
The Dewey Decimal System? Yeah.
Oh God!
Yeah, and I was always like I still remember. I remember a lot of things about my senior year of high school. I had to pass English. It was one of only 2 classes I needed to pass to graduate my senior year. And we had to write this big in-depth book report, and I picked the absolute worst topic to try to find information on in the library. If we had Google, it would have been easy.
Yeah,
But to try to find it in books, it was the most difficult thing. And I finally went to my teacher and I was like, "Look, time's running out. I am, nowhere near where you want it." And she's like, "Okay, I'll be honest with you, but don't go tell everybody else. I've seen you've been putting in effort, and as long as I see you put forth effort, I don't give anybody lower than a C." And I'm like, "Thank God, because I'm not going to have this done." So she was pretty cool about it, but
and what people don't know is you get a book this thick. Um, you don't go to the book and know exactly what page the information you're looking for is on. You have to read the entire book.
yep.
You know,
And then you had to cite it,
you
where it
see,
was at, and
yes,
what page, and what the author was, and the
yeah,
publishing yeah, it was crazy.
if you didn't cite it, you automatically were called a plagiarist, and people actually cared about that back then, and they threatened to
Nobody
throw
cares
you out
about
of
it now.
school.
So,
I mean, people would get thrown out of colleges if they were caught plagiarizing stuff out of books. They took it very, very serious at one point. It was crazy.
right. Yeah, and our teachers, they knew that stuff. Like, they could pick it out.
Yeah.
Staven says, Eric in small print, there has to be a joke there somewhere. Thank you for
Oh,
sponsoring the like button.
I really wanted to come on here and just kind of do a nice show with you. And I didn't know I was going to be harassed by all these people.
You
Uh,
know, I really appreciate it because I put the offer out there. If anybody ever, wants to do these Monday shows, it is open invitation. Hit me up. Y'all know how to find me. I mean, people blow my phone up, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, texting me, calling me. Y'all know where I'm at. If anybody ever wants to come on, just just hit me up. Eric told me last week I'd come on anytime you want. So he actually messaged me tonight and was like, I thought you were doing Monday lives. Where are you at? And I was like, Scott's live, right? Scott's going live at 8. And again, I wanted to respect Scott. He's a good friend. He's also good friends with Natsman, who's been a longtime friend in this hobby now. And he had to push his back. So I didn't want to like collude between both because people watch me, people watch him. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go back to 9 o'clock instead. And it's worked out well. I do thank all of you that have hopped on this evening. Sean says, yuck, Tua is back in. Man, people are hard on that dude. He has done pretty decent this year. And he
yeah.
has like a bad game, and holy smokes, they've been grilling him. Man. Dr. Exclusive, he said, evening, guys, and hi, Boston. Tua and Steve Young only have a throwing hand in common.
No, and they both played in Florida.
Michael Ham says,
Played-
great is everything, guys. I think he meant great evening. Not sure what he meant there. Great is everything. Everything is great. We'll leave it at that. Everything is great. Billy Sullivan, the first owner of the Patriots, paid $25,000 for the AFL franchise Boston Patriots in 1960. I don't know who the Boston kid is, but I'll tell you what, I actually enjoy this. He is throwing out random Boston sports comments. We could have trivia in here. If he private messaged it to us, we could be like,
I'll tell
how
you
much
this.
did Billy Sullivan pay for the Patriots?
I'll tell you this. You know how when beloved stadiums get torn down and replace Yankee Stadium, the Boston Garden, you know, these beloved stadiums. Everyone's trying to keep Fenway alive for another generation. Nobody, not one human being, was upset when Sullivan Stadium was taken down.
So it's funny you mention this, and as a hockey fan, I don't know if you know this because I would have never dreamed of it. Do you know who has the oldest hockey arena in the NHL right now?
The oldest in the NHL. Oh boy. It's probably not even that old. I don't say Madison Square Garden, the Rangers, maybe.
Nope, it's the Seattle Kraken. The newest and youngest team has the oldest arena, but they put like I don't quote me on the number, but it was like over $1 billion into renovating it.
Okay.
But they actually have the oldest arena, even though they're the newest team. They
Yeah.
just spent a ton of money renovating it. I was like, that's a crazy, crazy thing there. But yeah, you were mentioning the old stadium. They just renovated it. They actually have the oldest arena. So
Well, when they turned Sullivan Stadium into a parking lot, people were like, "Okay, that's good." Bleacher seats, the aluminum metal just metal seats. I mean, they weren't
right.
even seats. They were, like just a bench, the metal benches, no back support. The
Like the
metal
high school stadiums.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just it was a big high school stadium. So you're sitting on metal during a winter football game, which is never a smart thing to do. Um, and no back support, no not they had like troughs in the bathrooms, it was a dump. It was an absolute dump. So nobody was upset when it got bulldozed. It's now a parking lot.
All right. Um, I guess I was wrong. I thought the Stars played tonight. It's tomorrow night. I looked at the date wrong. Don't mind me, I'm getting old. Sean says Young also had a crap ton of concussions. That is
Yes, he did.
correct. So did
Do I
Troy
know
Aikman and a bunch of them other guys back then, but they kept playing. You didn't hear about it as much. Uh, Likely a bad thing, but Carlos said the intellectual property of Bougie Eric is owned by myself and the Sony Corporation and Beckett. It's owned by Beckett as well.
Yeah,
Jesus saves. Robertson gets the rebound. He shoots. He scores. Hey.
that's an old Bobby Orr line. Jesus saves, Bobby scores. Was the saying from the 70s.
Staven says laugh my ass off. Stooks. Uh, Michael Ham says, "Is it still exercising?" I guess he's talking about the game. It is exercising. It's fun, but like there's running involved and all of that stuff. Um, yeah, it's fun. Any guess on the final goal and point totals for McDavid? He is crazy good, but will they ever get him a cup? You want to take a stab at that?
First of all, they will absolutely get a cup as soon as they get solid goaltending. They could have probably won the cup last year. Um, their goaltending was not good last year. It was horrible in the playoffs, and in the playoffs, you need your goalie to get hot and make those remarkable saves that are just mind blowing. That's what goalies are supposed to do in the playoffs, and Edmonton didn't have that last year. So as soon as they get a solid goalie performance, they get a little tougher playing defense and are not so offensive minded because you can't win every game, 7-5. I think they absolutely will win a cup. I think they'll win a couple.
Do you
Um,
think their other lines are strong enough? Because like everybody knows Drysdale and McDavid, but when you get into those other lines, I mean, they have some decent players, but I don't. It's like extreme top tier level, and then it kind
yeah.
of falls.
Well,
So,
you have to see the issue that Edmonton has is it's no secret. So it's a couple of things. Other than playing with the best player on the planet, okay, other than that, why would you ever want to go play at Edmonton? There's nothing there. The winters are absolutely brutal. Um, it's and then you start dealing with the Canadian dollar as a player and the high taxes in Canada. Um, no, all these things that the players complain about. So if you could be a strong player on the second line, would you rather go to the Florida Panthers where there's no income tax and beautiful weather during the winter, or would you rather go to Edmonton?
I think they should go to Dallas. I mean, they got a pretty good kid there too, and a good goalie. I
Yeah.
mean,
So they actually have they have a difficult time getting good players and in some of these places that have high taxes, the Canadian dollar, and a brutal winter environment.
so what's your stab? Do you think do you think McDavid could break 800?
You mean break 800 points,
800 goals.
800 goals?
Yeah.
No,
He's
not at the
25
moment.
years old and he's
Yeah,
currently at 269.
yeah, he's gonna need some more help and stay healthy. Scoring um scoring that many goals is basically about staying healthy and playing 20 years. Um, and from what I've seen, the big guys, all right, like the real big guys that are good can't last that long. Lemieux is a perfect example. Lindros, um, these really big guys that have to go and bang bodies to get their goals and stuff. They don't seem to be able to last 20 years usually. So I'd love to see him. He's great for the league. I wish he played in an original six club. because that would be better for the NHL than to have him cast off in Edmonton. And his games are played in the middle of the night here. If McDavid played in Toronto, you would have the East Coast being able to watch him, and he'd be on an original six team, and the interest would be through the roof, and it would be great for the league.
He's definitely fun to watch. It'll it'll be interesting to see if him and Draisaitl stay together. Like what their numbers could be. Looking at this, he has 494 assists and then 269 goals. So he's approaching two times the amount of assists as goals. 763 points in 522 games. For anyone that's ever watched me talk about hockey, knows I always look for a guy that's a point per game. He well exceeds that. But it'll, here's another one. So I have it on the bottom here, and this tells you how good Jason Robertson is. Okay. McDavid's been playing a lot longer than Robertson.
All right, we
And
had
he
this
only
fight.
has 14 overtime goals.
This is
And Robertson already has 3.
no.
So I
This
would just like to point that out.
garbage. We already had this fight. This stat is completely garbage.
Well, it's not when these two have been playing kind of in the same genre. In
Garbage.
2019, McDavid had 0 overtime goals. How are you like the greatest player in the league right now and you have 0 for an entire season? He was a -6 on his plus minus that year. That's garbage. Man. Let's see. Boston says, by the way, Michael, awesome name for your channel. Michael, you just talked about you were going to change your name too. By the way, there was a comment up here that says, nobody tell him that it's been done for 2 years. That's in reference to the sneak peek of the Bobby Burrell Bible that you obviously haven't seen. Apparently, it's been 2 years now.
I knew it.
Curmudgeon said Bobby's site would have been released sooner, but he has had Yannick translating it into French for the past 2 years.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yannick's going back to college, so it's going to take a little bit longer.
Yeah, he doesn't have the free time to do that.
The missus said hit that like button. I know she really appreciates Eric, so she wants to show that appreciation. Sean said, no, just sad to see Tua taking those hits and getting hurt in the middle of a breakout year. I wasn't specifically talking about you, Sean. I was saying the general consensus of posts I've been seeing have been roasting Tua pretty bad. A lot of people are like way down on him. Curmudgeon said, don't forget, Carlos, I originally and first named Eric Bougie on your channel the night he wore the spider sweater. Since then, he has become the second biggest Boston sensation since the Strangler. And he can confirm, and the missus also shows the respect. When we send the mail to him, it is addressed to Bougie Eric. So he even gets his mail, and it gets delivered, as been confirmed. It gets delivered as Bougie Eric. So
I laugh my rear end off every time. Oh my God.
Let's see.
That is what it says.
Carlos says, I think the gap is closing. The latest polls have been encouraging. Send them all to Tampa. Go Lightning. Michael is rooting on the Tampa. Man, they have a strong team too. And especially you would never think Tampa, Florida, and hockey, but they have a really tough team.
They are my second favorite team. They have been since day one when Phil Esposito put the ownership group together to build the team. I always considered the Lightning Bruins South. Bruins fans who retire in Florida love the Lightning because of its connection to Phil Esposito. So I love Tampa. I have celebrated every one of their cups. All their players all their star players over the years. Vincent Lecavalier, Martin St. Louis, huge fans of that franchise.
I know Nikita Kucherov.
All right. There you go.
All right. Let's see. Not unless they ban the goaltender again.
Talking about McDavid scoring 800. and he
Jason Robertson pump. I don't know what he's talking about.
I do.
I don't. Is somebody really doing that? Is that why I haven't been able to like shoot? Man, this necklace though, it's pretty awesome. I do like that. This is gonna
I
have to
gotta
be
I
like a show
I
thing,
gotta
but I'm gonna have to get better than rubber bands though,
I'm
because
gonna
that
I'm
does
gonna have
worry
to
me
talk
a
to
little
my
bit. But
contacts. I'm gonna have to talk to my contacts. We gotta get you the real deal.
Michael Ham has it right. Pump and hold in action. Exactly, Michael. There is no dump here. It's held. Like I'm even trying to chain it up, right? It's not dumped, just pumped. And that's perfectly fine. We all like our favorite players, right? I mean, he look at how much Boston stuff's back there. Nobody says Eric pumps Beckett. Nobody's saying Eric's pumping Boston. I mean, come on, man. Rev says when people are hard on a player, the first question I ask is how invested are you on his cards? There was a lot of money spent on him. That's kind of true. That happens sometimes. I also think sometimes it's just fandom. Um, Especially in football, people are really quick to jump on bandwagons and or on a player in general. And then when they don't perform, they were the worst thing to ever happen in football. So you kind of see that a lot in the game of football. Um, but yeah, that's another side of it because a lot of the posts I'm seeing, I don't even know that the people are in cards. Like it's just general sports posts on Tua. So he said Brandon Hagel, my bad, is another player I bought low and have a nice little stash. Um, Rank Gordie Howe, Wayne Gretzky, Bobby Orr, and why? And I'll let you do this because you are more in the older players than
Mhm.
I am. I know all of their names, but you have followed the history of it more, and it would be unfair to me to sit here and give an analysis. And I know
Um,
you're gonna put Orr up, but
um,
you're also a
I am. I mean,
Gordy.
obviously I'm prejudiced. There's no question about that. I'm also highly offended that they didn't spell Gordy's name correctly.
I wasn't gonna point that
They
out,
didn't
but
capitalize Wayne or Bobby. So I am highly offended, but we'll try to move on from that.
well,
Yeah,
he also got the last name wrong too.
Howie. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's Gordy Howie.
So
So
I'm not sure if I should even acknowledge this, uh, but I'll tell you, these are definitely the three greatest hockey players of all time. There's no question about that. Everyone is trying to break their records. Well, and Jason Robertson, obviously. I mean, I thought we knew that he was first, and it's like, where do these other three fit after him? Bobby Orr revolutionized the entire game. He he took a game that was played for a long time, flipped it around, turned it on its head, ripped its guts out, and rebuilt the entire thing. When you see Connor McDavid um, picking up speed from behind his own net and coming across, the blue line at 100 miles an hour, and someone gives him a dump pass, and he just starts going to the net and zinging in and out of people. Bobby Orr is the one who created that. Um, here's a guy that led the league in points as a defenseman back when defensemen never crossed the center line. It was stay at home defenseman. And this guy was like, there's no rule that says I can't cross center ice. And
you know,
started
speaking
scoring.
on that, speaking of just real quick to jump in, because I want to mention something with that. You mentioned the defensive thing. And it was funny because obviously, I told the story when we got into hockey. It was 2019, and that was Cale Makar's rookie season, and also Quinn Hughes was in that young gun class. And like they were the two everybody was going for, and what is it, the Calder Trophy for Rookie of the Year.
Yes.
And I was like, I was trying to get information and asking people, in groups and this and that. And everybody was always like, oh, defensemen don't hold their value and blah, blah. And I'm sitting here like, I know damn well Bobby Orr is like one of the grail cards in hockey. And then you got these two kids, these young guys battling out to get the Calder, and they're like scoring. What the hell are these people talking about? And so I kind of just sat on Kale McCarr for a bit. And obviously, he's won a Stanley Cup now and, done his thing. But it was just funny because like jumping in as a new person, and that was that rookie class. You had Quinn Hughes and McCarr there. And it was everybody was just like, defensive guys don't hold their value. And I'm just like, well, I'm confused as hell now. So sorry, I just wanted to share that because that it was funny to me, jumping into the sport at that period.
Growing up here in Boston, I wasn't I was alive when Orr played, but I wasn't conscious of him. So, but we went from Orr to Park to Bork, and then believe it or not, we actually we at the very end of their career we had Brian Leach and Paul Coffey, and then we had Zdeno Chara.
Big
We
Z.
had the greatest defenseman in the history of the game come through Boston. And it always started with defense here. And now we have this young player, Charlie McAvoy, who I think will win a couple of Norris trophies by the time his career is over. So Boston notoriously builds from the back. And remember, before Bobby Orr, we kind of had this other defenseman people may have heard of. His name was Eddie Shore. So
I'm not too familiar with him. I do definitely know Bobby Orr. The three names on the list I am aware of. I don't know who he is.
Eddie Shore is one of the original all-time greats. And a lot of people probably have heard of him for the first time when watching the movie Slapshot. And they're in the locker room, they're talking about the old-time hockey. Eddie Shore, old-time hockey. He was a brutal defenseman. He'd kill you, literally try to kill you. He was mean, nasty, and you didn't want to come anywhere near the Boston Bruins net because he may kill you. So defensemen.
She's saying we're grumpy old men.
Which
Damn,
one?
wait. It's one thing for her to call you old, but she just called me old.
Well, you're not grumpy. I am grumpy. So I don't
That's to be
understand.
determined. I have been less grumpy lately.
I take what she's saying as a compliment, but I could see how you could be offended by it.
The grumpy part I didn't care about. The old part, like,
yeah, I'm old and grumpy.
I get enough of that already.
I am extremely old and extremely grumpy. So
Hockey says you were actually the delivery room nurse when Gordie Howe was born. I didn't know you were a nurse.
Slapped him. Well, it was one of my earlier careers. Yeah, I slapped him on his ass when he came out. Yep. So my second greatest player, I would say, is Gordie Howe. Gordie is Mr. Hockey. Okay, he is Mr. Hockey. This man played until he was 52 years old and was still on an all-star team.
So you're saying I should be able to go play and like learn hockey for like 2 years, and then I should still be able to have like an 8-year career?
Yes.
And probably pass like Ovechkin's record.
Absolutely.
If I got onto it right. I mean, I did get the fitness game to start getting me in shape.
That's right.
Yeah. So, all right, we might look into this.
I could see a ESPN 30 for 30 coming out in a decade or so. And it all started with a video game in my basement that made my shoulders burn. And now here I am, winning a Stanley Cup and getting into hockey.
I'll be like, I didn't even know what hockey was 3 years ago.
No. Thank God for that video game. I didn't even learn how to skate until I was 40. So yeah, I would say Mr. Hockey. He's scoring 801 goals. And of course, he scored a lot more than that. He just, those are his 801 is his NHL totals. He played in the WHA for several years. If you added those goals, Ovechkin's not near him. So if you look at just professional points and professional goals, Ovechkin has a way to go to catch both players. So, and then third, I would say Wayne. Wayne is the smartest player to ever play. He he he
Let
he's he remind huh?
let me ask your opinion on this
Okay.
because you mentioned Wayne,
Yep.
and this is something again being new in this, and obviously I've focused more on the newer guys. Would you put, and I'm not talking talent or anything like that, just situation. Would you put Gretzky and Mark Messier when they were teammates
Hmm.
as a similar situation as what McDavid and Draisaitl have? Where, I mean, let's face it, Messier was a hell of a player too, and then you had him teamed up with.
Moose Moose was unbelievable. He won a cup without Gretzky in Edmonton. Unfortunately, it was against my Bruins, but they still had every other Hall of Famer on the damn team. Um, but when Gretzky left to LA, they still won yet another cup with Moose leading the charge. So, yeah, don't forget Messier's in the top 5 of scoring, and
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because like when you look at the stats,
you
when you look
can't
at the
really
stats now,
go
who's up there? It's freaking Draisaitl and McDavid. All that every year, it's them two up in the top of the leaderboard. So they all like and they also have the Edmonton connection there. So I was like, it kind of reminds me, even though I didn't keep up with hockey and stuff back then, no one who doesn't know who Gretzky is. So it was like, comparing them two with him and Messier, it kind of just like sometimes it's like, are we witnessing today's version of Gretzky and Messier with McDavid and Draisaitl? So that's why I just wasn't sure what your opinion would be on that.
I think the only line with 2 Hall of Famers on it would be Crosby and Malkin. I don't think there's any other line in the league off the top of my head
Well, I
that
mean, you
has
got Backstrom and Ovi.
Backst Backstrom is a defenseman, correct?
What's that?
Isn't Backstrom a defenseman?
I was throwing that out there because they're
Oh,
like really close friends. I don't know if he's a wing.
so,
I'll look it up real quick.
so I, the only line in the league right now where 2 guys are going to go to the Hall of Fame are going to be Malkin and Crosby.
He's a center.
Is he?
Backstrom center. So
Okay, I must be thinking of someone else then. Um, yeah, I don't. I mean, does anyone think Backstrom's going to go to the Hall of Fame? I don't know. That's a jump. But anyway,
well, he's assistant captain. He's won a cup,
oh, well,
and
I
he's
don't.
Ovi's friend. He has over a
Well,
thousand
if he's
points.
Ovi's friend, he's definitely in the Hall of Fame because that's all you need.
He's a plus minus 111. He has 9 overtime goal winners
Yeah,
or overtime goals. I mean, come on, come
yeah.
on. He could.
I don't think of him as a Hall of Famer, but um, and if anyone else can think of a tandem playing on the same line that it's a guarantee that they're both going to the Hall of Fame, put it in the chat. But Crosby and Malkin are the only ones I could think of.
Well, we got a couple more questions here before we end it for the night. Um, Best hockey movie: Mighty Ducks, Slapshot, or Miracle on Ice?
I'm not answering such a silly question like that. Everyone knows what it is, and it's definitely one of those movies, and it would be the one in the middle.
So his vote is for Slapshot. He just said he's not going to say it.
Anything else?
Vinny disagrees and says Mighty Ducks.
Well, he needs a knuckle puck to the head then.
Rev said offensive defensemen are becoming more popular. It does seem like the defense definitely, and maybe it's the speed. The defensemen can get down real quick now. They got good stick handling. You notice it a lot with these young players. Maybe it's like putting 5 offensive guys on the ice with some toughness now. Mr. Hockey, the Gordie Howe story is Stuke's vote. Hockey
That movie,
Barnes is Youngblood.
no, no, and that Gordie Howe movie sucked.
Let's see. Sean Says McCarr, Sider, etc., and people also poop on midfielders and defense in soccer. I'll have to get Sean on here one night, talk him into jumping on and talking soccer for anybody that's interested in soccer. I am going to be a complete idiot, even more so than normal, because I still don't get the soccer thing. But I know there's a lot of people that enjoy it. And it's funny
Best
because
best
I didn't
players on
know
the
hockey, but
midfielders.
what's that?
Best players on the field are the midfielders. They have to play defense and offense. They have to control. They're like the field. They're like the quarterbacks. Well, actually, the goalie's more like the quarterback. Actually,
You know
but
more than I do.
well, I played, varsity soccer in high school, and then I went to college on a small scholarship and played. So yeah, I know a lot about it. Um, the midfielders are definitely the best players on the field. They have to control everything. Got to keep their heads up. Constantly try to find the forwards. They got to keep playing the ball back to the defensemen to build from the back. Um, no, the midfielders are the ones that are running a mile plus a game. The defense can hang back, the forwards can hang up. The midfielders, man, they're the ones that are just they don't stop. And if you're gonna start putting new titles on my name like the other
I didn't
idiot,
even know we could do
yeah,
that.
he's probably texting you saying, "No, this is what you do."
Actually,
Um,
no, he hasn't. I was like, wait a
okay.
second, how do you do it? I was just messing around trying to figure it out because I didn't know how
This
to do it.
is complimentary. Usually they're quite derogatory, so I'll take that.
Let's see. Random baseball humor. Nolan Ryan could throw a fastball through a car wash and not get it wet. I would have to say Randy Johnson, maybe. Nolan
No, he
Ryan, I'd have to go Randy. Randy
Johnson can
Johnson.
throw it through a bird. We know that.
All right, Sean has a question here. Which is best? Serious question. I know it's a tough one.
Serious
BGS or
question.
BVG?
For what? Um,
It just says which is
like
best.
to throw up against the tree. Um, to put down your garbage disposal. To flush down a toilet. I'm not sure exactly what he's referring to with the best for. Um, to kick across your backyard. I think it's all garbage. So
Stuke said if he slapped Gordie Howe, he probably slapped you back.
as a baby, he would. Gordie Howe hat trick, baby. A goal, an assist, and a fight.
Best part about Grumpy Old Men was when he was talking about how he's lived so long. Bacon sandwich. The missus said, we are going with the NHL record, and she loves Ovi. He's fun to watch. I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
he's really fun to watch.
Absolutely. And he's filled with energy. He loves the game. He loves his teammates. He's just as excited when a teammate scores than when he scores. He's like a big kid just playing hockey in a youth league. He's just having the time of his life every game. So yeah, I really enjoy his game.
Carlos said, I didn't realize we needed to invent a random high offense league to bolster Ovechkin's totals. I think in reference to Gordy in the WHA. Let's see. Curmudgeon said, if you know the history of hockey, as I know you do, Eric, Doug Harvey for Montreal revolutionized hockey as a defenseman first, then Orr took it to the next level. He was in 11 cup finals and won 6. And he won 7 Norris trophies to Bobby Orr's 8.
Doug Harvey is a true Hall of Famer and a legend. Of course, I'll argue all the Montreal Stanley Cups. I have strong opinions on Montreal and their number of Stanley Cup wins. I believe in my heart of hearts, Montreal's only won 2 Stanley Cups. So
in your heart.
In my heart of heart, Montreal has only won 2 Stanley Cups. I'm not changing my mind on that. So
let's see. Vinny said his grandfather was a spitting image of Pops from Grumpy Old Men.
awesome.
Boston Kid said, and then I drank my dinner. Carlos got it right. Per Bobbles, Jason Robertson, and person passing to Jason Robertson as the duo. There's the combo of the NHL. Dice said, makes me wonder where my brother ranks. He's been on the ice almost 20 years. He's a Zamboni driver. Hey, that would be a cool job.
Hey,
That would
without him, they can't play, right? So,
right. I mean, he's a
extremely
legend. In
important.
20 years, he's obviously good at what he does.
Yep.
Carlos says he's so proud. I am not sure what he's proud of, but he is
I
so
believe
proud.
the first Zamboni was used at the Boston Garden.
Here we go. Gotta be about Boston. No.
Just saying.
For 2 years, I think Lemieux, Francis, and Yager were on the same line together, all scored over 100 points in 1 year. It was 1996, maybe.
92.
I'm not gonna argue with either of you because I don't know. I have been looking more and more at the 90s cards,
Mhm.
and maybe I can get drawn back into there, but like I told y'all, it's kinda difficult to jump into that when you didn't experience that experience of, like, why I can understand, you know, it's one thing, like, with baseball. If you love the game of baseball, it's easy to, you know, especially when Aaron and Mantle and Clemente and all the Jackie Robinson, all those guys, Willie Mays, you hear so much about them. So and you see the highlights and all that. Um, I need to get back and look into the older hockey stuff and experience some of that old
Watch
goodness.
watch
So
watch Bobby Orr clips, man. It is you're saying to yourself, "That guy could play today."
so Carlos says that tag wins for coasters. Um, I want to just give real quick, if anybody cares. I did go on today and do the tag numerical updates for the grading, and I will share it with everybody if I can figure out how to do it. Share screen, right here. Boom. So let's see. I don't know if I can make that bigger or not. Anyway, wait a second. Here we go. All right. So you see here, this is where I put the date. They did 215 last week, and then the week before they had done 90. So this I would put more in line with their normal, the 200 ish. But I just wanted to show everybody I have been tracking this each week. I just haven't been doing videos about it every single week. But since the comment was mentioned, figured I'd throw it out there and let you guys see. Their big sport this week was baseball, followed by hockey. Last week it was also baseball, and then
Now,
football and hockey were pretty close.
Bobbles, what are the 3 columns? Because I can't see the top where it's listed. What are the 3 columns for?
So this is how many cards for each sport are in their population report. This
Uh-huh.
was last week. Okay, so what I do is when I do this, see, this is what was in their pop report last week. I just copy this and then I bring it over as my starting point.
Okay.
Okay. And then I go through the pop report and write down what it showed today. And then I put those numbers in here. And then this is the difference of the two. So as you
Okay.
see, 1096 to 1122, they're at 126 for baseball as a plus. And then I add this up and it gave me an increase of 215.
Alright,
So
so
that's
those
what I
are,
do. And then next week I'll copy this row, make
but
another
you don't have a
spreadsheet.
plus or a minus next to them, right? So I can't tell if it's a
Well,
+1 or
if the pop report goes down, which it has on a couple occasions, I guess they like this one. I think what happened here is they put these in soccer. They got the wrong net sport, and they
oh,
had put this week
so you do
soccer.
put so you do put minuses next to them. I just can't see. It's just too small for me.
Yeah, if
Okay.
let's see. So right here on this one,
Okay.
where it had went
Right?
down, if they adjust the pop report, right here was a -2 because they had 2 in political, but then when I checked it this week, it said 0, so it went down to -2.
Sure.
So I do keep track of it each week. It's just something fun to look at and keep track of. And then if anybody like ask about it, how are they doing or whatever, I have the numbers. I can go back and look at the last. I think I got 8 weeks in here now or something like that. So all right, what do we got here to close out? We're at an hour and a half. It's 10:30 Monday night. I'm sure people have to go to work tomorrow.
They're
Let's
all up
see.
watching Monday Night Football.
Oh yeah, that is one too.
Yeah,
So for
Chargers,
2 years, I think Lemieux. Oh yeah, we got that one. All right.
yeah,
Sean said we all know it is B. He didn't have enough C's. It's
yeah, a
like
lot of C's on
800
the keyboard,
C's
man.
G. He
Sean
knows that
knows.
it's B C C C C C C
C
C
C
C
C C
C
C C C
C
C C
G.
C C G. John knows.
Hockey Barn, Youngblood, all the way. Heartthrob, Rob Lowe, Patrick Swayze, and Keanu Reeves as hockey players. Rar. He even gives it a little rar.
No, little raw.
Let's see. Would you say
There's
the
only
last few years
two
have been?
Cosmet movies when former Chicago Blackhawk um I can never pronounce his last name. Eric begins with an N. Plays the father, teaches him how to fight. That's my favorite part of the movie.
Boston Kid said Roadhouse was a great movie. We're getting just into Carlos is the movie guy. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
100% complete, straight up with everybody. I can watch a movie, and unless it is something that is really, really like hits me, give me a couple days and I won't remember it. That is a defective trait of mine. I am not good at retaining movies. And so it's another reason I don't watch a lot of movies because I enjoy watching them, but I can never remember them. And it's always like got to me. I don't know what the deal is with it, but people like can quote movies. You know, they know damn near the entire script and could just sit here and quote the movie off. And I'm like, I don't even know who played in the movie. Yeah, I've
Huh.
heard of the movie. I know I watched the movie, but I don't remember the movie. So that's a defect trait of mine that I unfortunately admit.
Well, every time you see
Um,
the movie over and over again, it's like for the first time.
yeah, pretty much exactly. I used to watch my favorite movies as a kid to watch over and over, and one that I did have at one point down pretty significant to remembering line for line. But I loved watching White Man Can't Jump, and then I've told y'all Die Hard, the Die Hard series, like that's my favorite movie series of all time. So I'll watch those at any moment. Those
Yeah,
movies are awesome.
the last one wasn't so great, but I like the others.
Yeah. Rev says, "Will Connor McMichael ever get his chance in Washington?" He played a little bit. Was it last year? They said that Ovi has been kind of taking him under his wing a little bit. I don't know if he just hasn't if there's not an opening for him or if they're wanting to groom him. You know, he might be old when or I shouldn't say old, but not as young as some of these guys when he finally gets a lot of his ice time. I think they are using more of their vets and trying to groom him a bit. Just from what I understood, I hate that they got rid of Samsonov and Vitek Vanacek at goalie because I really like both of those guys and they moved them. So that was kind of sad to see. I thought both of those could be a great tandem as netminders, but they got moved. So Carlos says, and the Zamboni driver also scored the first NBA three-pointer, possibly made up facts. Hey, if it sounds good, let's go with it. I mean,
Well, is
right?
there any way you can
Just
block?
asking questions and it's only opinions and possibly made up facts. Let's
Is
go
there
with
any
it.
way you can block certain people from the chat?
I'm not gonna block him. He's too fun.
I'll give you $50.
What?
I'll give you
Did y'all
50
hear
bucks.
that bribe?
Yes.
Let's see. I'll let y'all read that one. I don't know if YouTube would take that the wrong way.
It's YouTube would take it the way it's meant to be taken.
Gretzky 9 MVP awards. Enough said. Yeah, that depends. Who was the 9 MVPs? Was it a competitive class? um,
Lemieux for a handful of years there, and Lemieux won his share. So, um,
brother started with the Springfield Indians hockey team, now the Thunderbirds.
I don't know the reference. I'm not quite sure.
It must be. I think he's the one that said his brother was a Zamboni driver. He must
Oh,
do it for minor league.
Oh, okay.
Boston Kid, collector's dream, Clemente, Aaron, Mantle, Ruth, and Gretzky. Well,
That'd
I
be
can
pretty
tell
nice.
you, I have rookies of, well, not rookies. I have a Clemente rookie, I have an Aaron rookie, I have a Gretzky rookie. I have a 52 Mantle, but it is not the tops. I have the Bowman, and I have a Gaudy Ruth. So, did I complete the dream? Because I'm still dreaming and there's still cards I want. So,
Yeah.
let's
I
see.
have the Gretzky rookie on that, and that would be it.
Yeah, that was my second hockey card purchase. Um, my first was an Ovechkin Young Gun. So, and then I grabbed a Gretzky rookie.
Not a bad one.
Michael Ham said Carlos is retired,
Yeah,
and
I
I
think he
think
spelled
Carlos
that.
agreed.
I think he spelt that wrong.
Uh, and then he said, and unlike some retirements, I've actually kept to it for years. Rev says, remember the Titans. Carlos says, also given Bobble's admission, I think Memento would be perfect for him from the irony perspective. Look, so there's another movie that, and I'm surprised more people don't like say it in comments or whatever. I can't remember the first person that told me, but I know the Mrs. Grandmother said it, and I've been told this many times. But I have been told that I look like an actor that actually has a movie named after himself. It's been said many times that I look like John Malkovich. So
That's
I'm
not a problem.
waiting. I'm waiting for my opportunity and the contract to come over so I can get the fill in, the stand in parts and stuff. You know, hey, I think it would be enough to fool the audience and be a cool opportunity. Um, but yeah, so being John Malkovich, it's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it, right?
I'm gonna go with Skinny Santa Claus.
Skinny Santa Claus. No, I'll have to share it with you one day. I have a picture that I did a side by side and I kind of tilted my face the way he did in the photo. I can't even deny it. I do kind of look
Oh,
like
yeah,
John
that's better,
Malkovich.
that's better than being told that you look like Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's many other things that could have been a lot worse. So, Sean said 51st Dates. That's a great movie. Adam Sandler. I do remember that movie. Adam Sandler and
Drew Barrymore.
yeah, Drew Barrymore.
I can't stand her voice. It is like nails on a chalkboard. The other day, I come home and my wife had the day off, and like I think it was Friday or something, and she had
Wait, you
her
have enough money to let your wife gets a day off?
from work. I gave her a
Don't
list
be
of
telling that too loud. Mine watches.
no, no, no. It was her job that I make her go to, but then when she's not there, she has chores to do around here. Um, but I walked in the house and all I could hear was Drew Barrymore's just voice coming from the living room. She has her own talk show. What moron
Oh, did not know
Drew
that.
Barrymore her own talk show? I don't want to hear this woman speak. I can't stand her voice. It's brutal.
She said the white beard throws people off for this. Yeah, the white beard does change. But Malkovich has some periods where he had the gray. His was more gray, silvery than white. But yeah, he has a few images where he has the beard. Um, Michael Hand says he gets mistaken for X-Pac. I believe. Hold on, Carlos is going to be proud of me. X-Pac was a wrestler, right?
That is correct.
And he was the one that did the
He was
suck it
one of
pose or whatever.
he was one of the members of D-Generation X when that was a thing. Yes.
Back during was that around the NWO times?
Yes.
Oh,
Different,
look at me
different
talking wrestling,
organization.
guys. Oh
Different
man.
separate organization. You had WCW had the NWO in that little group, and the WWF. I think it was still the WWF at that point. I don't remember the exact transition time. Had
Hey, I'm just
Degenerate.
proud of myself for catching the reference and knowing who the hell it was.
There you go. So yes, he was
She
around.
said, "This is incorrect information. We have watched this. This is false information. She is
Which is
forgetting things in her
what?
age too."
Which is ironic because the whole movie is about how the woman forgets everything.
Yes,
So
and I
she went.
know for a fact we've watched it.
So she went to sleep, and when she woke up, she forgot, just like the movie.
That does happen. We'll turn the movie on. No, I'm not asleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wind it down here. I'm not gonna throw that one up there. Let's see. Memento is not for characters he looks like. You'll have to check the plot to get the reference. Wedding Singer as well. Sean says New Year's Eve Bibles must watch 51st Dates with the Missus. We normally watch the ball drop and all of the lip syncing and see who can make a fool of themselves,
You got
not
work.
knowing the words to their own songs. It's
Hey,
pretty fun.
you got work to do that night.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, New Year's Eve, that is, well, I gotta
We
look for auctions too. Last year it worked out great.
we got to go to work that night.
He was originally the 1-2-3 Kid. Yes, he was. I do remember that. And again, I'm proud of myself for remembering the reference and who he was. And he said it was WWF during Degeneration X. So, all right, guys, Eric, everybody, I do appreciate it. I didn't expect to go this long, but it's been a great night. Mondays, it's gonna be our time slot. I'll let y'all know and post it up earlier next time. That way, I hope to do 8 o'clock, but if it has to adjust, I'll let people know. And if somebody's got to move theirs to Monday, I don't want to. I don't want to overlap and compete for views and all that stuff because there's some people I enjoy watching, so I don't want to be on, doing my thing and missing theirs and all that stuff. So we'll work it out. Hopefully, 8 o'clock on Mondays is going to be the time slot, though. After the new year, if you are watching and you're part of the SGC group submissions, because I know some people jump in, they don't always chat. We set the date just because I have not announced that yet, and I'll have to do that again later. We set it for January 12th, give people time, get cards together, get over the holidays, and get them shipped and all that good stuff to get to us. So January 12th will be the first one for 2023. But Eric, I appreciate it. Everybody in the chat, I appreciate it. Hit that like button for Eric on the way out. He really, really, really appreciates it.
Oh, I don't.
And as always, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and until the next video, I'm out.